We all know that Apple has one of the best, if not the best ecosystem in the entire world. Or at least, that's what I thought. Nearly 6 months ago, when I thought I'd try my hand at switching to an S24 Ultra instead of my iPhone. So in this video, I want to show you what makes a good ecosystem, why Apple has set the gold standard for what an ecosystem can actually do, and actually what else is just around the corner that might even surpass and take the crown from Apple's own ecosystem. Now, firstly, we need to understand what makes an ecosystem, because it's easy for a big brand to slap a bunch of devices together and say, look, ecosystem. But there is far more to it than just that. Now, for most people, an ecosystem starts with this, your phone. Now, these days, your phone contains more than just a bunch of phone numbers, contacts, and messages. It controls everything around us. The heating and cooling systems in our home, our family calendar system, our cars, our doors and locks, our money, and it stores our most valuable memories. So any good ecosystem will usually start with a good phone, and then the experience expands to that from the first device to others within that same ecosystem. Now those same messages can be accessed on a watch or a laptop or a tablet. Memories can be recalled as wallpapers on your tablets, screensavers on your computer, or even on your TV. And when things happen around your home, it knows where you are and can communicate with you, like when watching the TV and someone rings the doorbell, or there's motion on a security camera, or the washing machine finishes its cycle. And it does all of this quickly, with minimal delay, and with understated convenience. When introducing others into your ecosystem, being able to share this information, these memories, these experiences, even devices around your home, needs to be all done simply and seamlessly. And so the reason why Apple has always and historically set the golden standard for an ecosystem is because it was really the first to bring it all together in a way that no matter how old or how young or technologically inept, all of those integrations and features just worked. From small details like someone trying to connect to your home Wi-Fi where you can just tap one button on your phone to share the Wi-Fi password, to having a shared family photo album which then resurfaces those valuable memories as a TV wallpaper. And it's not overwhelming either. Any Apple product you pick up naturally has many of these same features and integrations by using Apple's iCloud storage to share photos, messages, mail, notes, reminders, Safari usernames and passwords, your wallet, and of course other app preferences cross-device. You can put on an Apple Watch and have a familiar experience as when using an iPhone or an iPad. And Apple has been able to do this gradually as they build new device after new device, and whether it's iPadOS or macOS, iOS or even visionOS, all of them have a very similar experience. But there is a problem. Others are now starting to catch up, and in the case of the iPhone, it's not just a case of catching up, they're beginning to surpass Apple. Take the iPhone, for example. Android alternatives offer faster charging, longer battery life with newer Bluetooth technology that offers lossless audio, better cameras, and of course this year's popular one, AI tools. And whilst their closed ecosystem competes at the level of phones, laptops and tablets and even TVs, others are playing a whole different game. Samsung is probably the best example here. Yes, we have phones and laptops, tablets, watches, headphones, even TVs, which when combined are at the stage of competing with Apple's ecosystem, but then surpassing it. Take Samsung DeX, for example, a feature that I have on my mobile phone that admittedly I've never used. But in tablets, Samsung DeX does something every iPad user dreams of for a full desktop experience when using their tablet as a laptop replacement. Being able to switch in and out of tablet mode automatically or just at the touch of a button just seems like an obvious feature here to have. Yet Apple have refused to do this year after year as they're just too afraid to cannibalize their existing lineup of laptops. But I'm getting carried away here because it's not these products which you could argue for whether they have a better ecosystem than Apple. It's the wider products where things start to really get interesting. Your washing machine or dryer can now notify you via your Samsung device when they finish, or control your oven from outside of your home so it's ready to cook as you arrive home, or perhaps your wife forgot to switch off her hair straighteners. You can remotely switch those off too. Now, when I was at Samsung KX last week for their new gaming monitor announcements, they showed me their AI-powered fridge that knows what items you place in and take out. It can track their expiry dates, and you can add items directly to your shopping list from a fridge. as incredible as Apple's products are, it's actually quite impressive that people like Samsung have such a wide range of products spanning pretty much every and any electronic device you have in your home and are able to integrate them together the way that they are. But taking it a step further, when I was at CES this year, I saw Samsung announce a collaboration with Tesla Energy where when a power cut is detected, SmartThings and the Tesla Powerwall battery can communicate with each other and put devices in your house into this low power consumption mode to minimize the drain on your home battery. Whereas over in the Apple world, we have Apple not willing to work with anybody unless A, they pay Apple a lot of money, and then B, developers have to make it happen. Now taking that Tesla for example further, Tesla is being so arrogant that they don't want to use something like Apple CarPlay in their cars because they think their infotainment system is better. And so Apple and Tesla just working together seems like it's just never going to happen. And so whilst these behemoths are refusing to work with each other, Samsung is building out their ecosystem into far bigger and far wider product areas through these types of collaborations. Collaborations such as with Hyundai, which brings two-way controls between the car and the home, or British Gas here in the UK to integrate your gas usage into SmartThings and allow optimization with supported appliances, or Eve Energy, Philips Hue, or Southern Company. But this is the intersection where I just can't see how Apple's closed ecosystem can actually win. Now again, I'm not saying that Samsung is perfect here and SmartThings as a platform really has a long way to go, but I am really into my smart home tech and I jump between SmartThings, Google Home, and Apple Home almost daily, but eventually I still end up putting everything into Home Assistants. So that's now 4 separate apps depending on the device I'm using and depending on the one I want to control or how complicated I need the actual smart home automation to be. And whilst we're on the topic of smart home, since it is coming up to Father's Day at the time of shooting this video, I want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Aqara. With the latest Aqara M3 hub, for example, I am finally able to access and control a growing number of smart home devices across all of those smart home platforms simultaneously by using the latest Matter and Thread technology. And actually, over the last 6 to 12 months, I've been slowly converting my smart home devices to Aqara ones. Their FP2 presence sensor, for example, can literally identify where you are in a room to set off automations based on your movements. Our Ring camera has been replaced with an Aqara Camera Hub G3, so we can spot if the kids are getting out of bed when they should be asleep at night, which then pops up on our Apple TV. And the new T1 ceiling light has replaced our landing light, which has 2 separate lights that you can control independently. And that second LED ring light is super ideal for using for notifications, as each LED is individually controllable. So I can use it to remind me to lock any doors or if any windows are open before I go up to bed. And for those who are thinking, yes, but if my wife or kids still switch off the light, then it's still a useless light. Aqara's smart wall switches can replace your regular light switch and instead control it the same way that you do from your phone. And yes, they do work even here in the UK where we kind of usually get left behind. Now, any of these would make for great Father's Day gifts, and Aqara have given me an extra discount, which will be linked down below in the description. And this is literally what I mean about the closed Apple ecosystem. It is a fantastic ecosystem, we all know this. And I've even felt myself drawn to trying to ensure devices I buy are Apple HomeKit devices because, yeah, stuff is easier when it's all Apple. But what I'm realizing after switching to the S24 Ultra for the past 6 months now is that however good the Apple ecosystem is, it's always going to be limited by itself, by Apple. Now, of course, having an open ecosystem has its challenges. They'll of course take longer overall because it's literally like piecing together a jigsaw puzzle where in most cases, someone different has made every piece of the jigsaw. But the end result is a much bigger picture that still looks just as beautiful, which to us as consumers means we get the most important thing of all, choice. A choice of more product categories, all of which can talk to each other no matter what phone you have. Collaboration is the variable here. Those who keep everything in-house will take longer, but may ultimately come up with a better product, eventually. This is what we see with Apple. But those who collaborate will be able to advance much, much faster, collectively learning from their mistakes and putting their heads together to solve the biggest problems. Now, don't get me wrong, if we didn't have Apple, then we probably wouldn't be just about to see a whole range of Snapdragon-powered laptops absolutely dominate their Intel equivalents. Competition is always good, but as far as it comes to having a good ecosystem, I like not having to make sure that the products I'm buying are on some approved list of products that work, like you have to with Apple. Now with the likes of Samsung or even other brands, that's becoming less of a problem each year. Now of course this is coming from the perspective of someone who has, as of 6 months ago, put down my iPhone and picked up a Samsung S24 Ultra. But the more and more I use products outside of what was previously discouraged by Tim Apple,
buy your mom an iPhone.
the more I'm enjoying the experience. Because the one thing that we will always have as consumers, one very important thing, once again, is choice. So if you want to watch what my experience of switching to the S24 Ultra has been like, then check out this video and I'll see you in the next one.